Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us either live or probably many of you or most of you will look at this later. And we're going to have today another AMA or M&A, in this case with AdaSwap, which happened to be a DEX, but it's much more than a DEX. And what we would really enjoy that would happen today is two things. One, we're going to go into a series of questions to actually learn the history, the why, and the reason why AdaSwap is working as it is working. Who are the people behind it? And second to that, and also very important, and that's why it's an M&A, is that we will eventually also look at the platform itself, how it works, and we're going to have some specific questions to actually understand how can we use it and what are the difference that they're bringing to the community. But before that, I'm going to bring into this screen the two of AdaSwap representatives that I will introduce 1 second, who would join us today. So let me just bring them up here so you can see their faces. Bringing Aaron, and I'm bringing Lennon. You can see them there. And before I do a formal introduction, let me just give you another hint of what we're doing this. Well, as many of you have seen or maybe know, or they have just read in social media, AdaSwap integrated with Milkomeda, who happen to be L2 protocol that provides EVM capabilities to non-EVM blockchains, and many of you know, just like a month ago. So Milkomeda, in this specific case, which I'm talking about Cardano ecosystem, we actually, it's a sidechain, right? So that's why it's called Milkomeda C1. In this specific case with Cardano, we work as a sidechain. And one thing that we really care about is to actually support the ecosystem to grow, and specifically support the Cardano ecosystem. So having one example of one of the DEXs that have integrated with us and having them here also speak about it is actually a huge support for the whole community, and that's the idea of this talk at the same time. We're going to go into many things that they're doing, but before now, let me officially introduce them. You can see him here, I have Aaron Tate. He's the Chief Operation Officer of AdaSwap. So welcome, Aaron. How is everything going?
Hi, Kara. Thank you very much for having me. It's all very good. Thank you.
Perfect. And we also have Lennon Qualman, who's the Chief Strategy Officer, who will also support in demonstrating how the platform works. So welcome, Lennon.
Hey, very happy to be here.
Great. Okay, guys, let's start with some questions. And I want to start, first of all, with please tell us a story of AdaSwap. Why did you guys came up with AdaSwap? Why you're doing this? What is behind? A little history of the DEX and also the difference of the DEX before jumping into the more technical part or what you're doing at this moment in Milkomeda. So
okay, so I will start, and if Lennon wants to jump in, please feel free. AdaSwap was started as a project in the beginning of 2021, and this was done in anticipation of the launch of smart contracts on Cardano. So 2021 was the ramp up of DeFi. DeFi was taking a prominent place in the financial ecosystem as a new alternative for people that didn't otherwise have access to regulated or mainstream financial services. And then we saw the rise of DeFi, and all of a sudden, DeFi was helping the world in many ways that people wouldn't expect, such as Axie Infinity in the Philippines, for example. And all of a sudden, DeFi took a very serious stance in our financial system today for retail traders, for investors, for a whole broad range of people, SMEs, whoever needed additional and better access to finance without being scrutinized for their credit score, for example. So we're long-term believers, the AdaSwap team, in Cardano, and we saw these other ecosystems coming up, and we thought that, and we still think today, and we still know that Cardano, in our eyes, is going to be the best, because Cardano is a community-based, community-orientated blockchain. We really like the mission behind it, and the mission behind the direction of the blockchain, and also the features of the blockchain are quite spectacular in our eyes. So in early 2021, we decided to start the AdaSwap platform and AdaSwap project. And we were one of the first movers in the Cardano ecosystem, pre-smart contracts, to start, building, et cetera. And then with the launch of smart contracts in the end of 2021, then we saw the Cardano ecosystem starting to ramp up. But we as a project, we decided that we didn't want to focus only on ourselves, but more on the ecosystem as a whole. Meaning that in our eyes, we wanted to change our narrative from being a DEX to being a liquidity engine for the Cardano ecosystem in terms of creating new users and new liquidity in the Cardano ecosystem. So you'll have a lot more trade volume and a lot more participation on the DeFi space in Cardano. And in order to do this, we changed our strategy quite a lot in terms of our messaging, our narrative, and also development. And then we came across Milkomeda, and we were very amazed by the capabilities that Milkomeda offer, the scalability being the first layer 2 solution for Cardano, and the ability to offer cross-chain possibilities for AdaSwap. And this all very much fitted into our vision of bringing liquidity from other chains into the Cardano ecosystem and building a Cardano ecosystem and creating that new generation of user. So our deployment to Milkomeda was a very exciting thing. It was a very big pivot in our development strategy, and obviously, there were different things that had to be done. And we also have an NFT marketplace that was built native Cardano, and now we have the DEX that is Milkomeda orientated. So we have two very different dev teams working at the moment. And we're just very happy to be on Milkomeda and to see the great work that you guys are doing in terms of opening up an Algorand and towards Solana. And from our eyes, it's how we're gonna bring those users over to Cardano. But in the bigger sense of thing, it's not just enough, and really in the bigger scheme of things, it's not just enough to break the regular financial structure with DeFi, but to make DeFi more inclusive. So we feel that once you have a platform that truly caters to a variety of different native assets from different chains, meaning that traders all have an easier access to what they want to invest or what they want to trade in, that's when you're starting to talk about a greater inclusivity of traders and retail traders and investors, and easier access to DeFi as well. And that's what we're aiming towards.
Okay, Aaron, I would take your words in saying that is a liquidity engine, right, in the Cardano ecosystem instead of just a DEX, which I love because I think it explains better that kind of your broad vision of what you guys building and what you want to achieve. In that broad vision, you have been on integrating Milkomeda for a month already, right? I think it's almost exactly a month since you guys actually launched Milkomeda C1. So what are the highlights on the launch of Milkomeda C1 until now?
Okay, so the launch of Milkomeda was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We launched a month ago, but as you know, we've been working with Milkomeda and talking Milkomeda for a lot longer than that. Also the team behind Milkomeda is incredible, and the response is also incredible. Meaning that with the launch of our platform in the last month, we've seen over 130,000 transactions. We have almost 10,000 unique wallet addresses. We have seen thousands and thousands and thousands of feedback and responses from our community in terms of, writing on us on Twitter, emailing us, submitting bug reports, submitting, like we have compliment reports. It's crazy to see how much positive response we've gotten from our community, from people that were excited to participate in a Cardano-based DEX, people that were excited to see what it would be like to trade Cardano native assets, and also people that were drawn towards Milkomeda to see how Milkomeda can operate and how Milkomeda functions as a chain. So obviously Milkomeda is here to support Cardano, but we were very amazed to see how well the kind of the synergy between the two chains work. In the fact that we are a Milkomeda built DEX, catering for Cardano, built for Cardano, and having a Cardano audience. So we were very, very happy to see the response.
I think you position yourself as well as kind of an ecosystem builder, not ecosystem builder, but very enable the Cardano ecosystem, the Cardano community in a way that is not just a DEX, which is, you also just mentioned that in the beginning, which I really like. In that point, you have mentioned many points that eventually we can say like, oh, this could be something interesting for the Cardano community. This could be something new. But what do you think specifically you're bringing to the Cardano community today? Thanks to Milkomeda C1. I know a month is not that long, but maybe apart, you just mentioned the number of transactions, which are Great, I think great numbers. But what else in terms of community support? Is there a way that you can, how you're talking to the community, how they can engage with you?
Yeah, so we have our social channels, and we're trying to stay very interactive with the community. And in terms of what we're offering the Cardano community now, it's a safe and secure way to trade. And we're even wrapping that up to go as far as saying we want to gamify our decks, meaning we want to offer the best incentives for the community with the best possible trading conditions, as well as offering a great UI, which is a user interface to the community. So it's a very nice trading experience within itself. And obviously that will be supported by the highest levels of security. So we have our token audited. We're also having our DEX currently audited. Our auditing partner will be announced within a few coming days, but it's a very well-known auditing partner. And all around, we want to offer just a very high quality, very quick trading experience for a retail investor that is able to come along, enjoy the UI, enjoy the options that we offer in terms of trading pairs and liquidity, and have a very good trading experience. And like I said, beyond that, it is definitely our intention, once we launch into mainnet, to offer a lot more incentives that you do not see in the regular DeFi space, in order to draw as much liquidity towards Cardano, towards our DEX, and towards what we're doing as possible, because we want to really incentivize our users and create a very pleasant and a good trading experience.
Perfect. Okay, I have more questions. We're gonna go over all the questions later, but I wanna see kind of how it looks, right? Let's take a look at AdaSwap as a platform where all these things come to light, right? You can actually, it's like, let's see the magic. So I believe Lennon, I don't know, Lennon, if you're gonna jump in here and maybe share your screen.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we'll see how it looks.
Let's start. So I think everyone sees my screen.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so first of all, I really want to say a huge congrats to our team, especially the dev team that have been really hard working on the decks for the last couple of months. It wasn't an easy job. I've went with them and saw really the hard work they put into it, and it's really crazy to where we've gotten. On top of the decks, I want to say with some added features, for example, the graph. We have a full implementation of the graph. I think we're the first on Milkomeda that have succeeded in doing it. That means we can see full analytics. The full Milkomeda blockchain is completely scanned from our end. And like this, we can know liquidity, pairs, volumes, and a lot of more information in real time. So let's start, I think, with the basics. Let's go over the DEX functions, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so right now I'm connected, as you can see, with my wallet. That's the MetaMask wallet, and I'm on the Milkomeda Cardano testnet. I've already took some test tokens, and right now, because actually of the Vasil hard fork, I know there are a couple of issues funding your wallet because of the bridge from Cardano to Milkomeda currently. But we've already funded it, so I can show you how everything works. Let's select, for example, a token, let's say Goguen, and maybe let's go also for Byron. If we swap here, let's say 50 tokens, we'll receive roughly 40.78. Let's approve. Let's confirm that. And as you can see, before that we had 5,151 and 1,800, just for comparison. You can see it also here. Where is, yeah. So here's Goguen, and Byron is right up there. let's swap, confirm, and confirm once again. And one thing that I really am very surprised with is right when I click on checking the blocks, it's already like confirmed like almost instantly. That's pretty crazy. So all transactions are very, very fast on Milkomeda, and also the fees, as you can see here, this is like 0.007 milk ADA. So ADA is like right now, I think $0.50 or so. So that makes it roughly like less than a cent, maybe like a third of a cent or so. So it's really crazy. Let's go here to Milkomeda, to MetaMask, sorry. And right now you see few less Goguen and a few more Byron. So the swap has just completed. We can also fund pools and so on. So there are all kinds of pools. Also, there are pools that actually our users have created. I see here that wasn't our first pairs. That's also very nice to see. So if essentially we add liquidity, for example, to these tokens, so let's approve. And just like this, it's almost instantly approved. Let's apply it. Let's do a refresh. And as you see, in a matter of seconds, it's already approved by at least a block or two. And that's crazy. And then you can, of course, add the AdaSwap LP tokens to your MetaMask. And just like this, you have already a new token pooled. Of course, you can also withdraw them, remove your liquidity, let's say all of it. We, of course, give back the AdaSwap LP tokens, and then we get back our tokens. It's the the speed always amazes me. Confirm, and just like that, we've received back our tokens. As you can see, that's all the information. And yeah, that's about it. Let's go over the analytics. That's the graph implementation. So as you can see, that's the liquidity of test tokens we have, volume. You can see here top tokens that we have liquidity for, and so on. I think my computer is a bit stuck because I have too many stuff running. Let's try closing a bit tabs. But let's wait. But yeah, that's about it. I think because I have the StreamYard and this going on, so here, now it came. But my computer is running a bit slow. But as you can see here, you can get all the information you want about tokens, pairs, accounts, and so forth. And it, as of now, works fully. Farms are coming very soon. And so are the incentives. So we're really excited for it.
Cool. Great. Actually, it was super smooth. It was very fast.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
really sure every time I like do a swap, I just clicking on the Explore and just seeing it like instantly confirmed. It's just crazy. Like I'm so used to, I don't know, do Ethereum transactions, other transactions, and you just wait and wait and wait. And when will it be accepted already? And that's like, you just, the moment you click, it's accepted. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's great. Actually, I think that's one of the big momentums, I would say, of the shift of what we're trying to build and what all of us are building. So it's great to see it live, you know. Okay, I have this. You guys are not prepared for this, so if you tell me no, let's keep it for another M&A, is fine. But I know that something that intrigues me a lot is the NFT marketplace, because it's one of your different. It's something that makes you guys different, right? It's kind of like a different kind of support to the ecosystem that AdaSwap is actually bringing, and it's what personally caught my attention when I first heard about you guys. It's like, oh, it's a DEX, great, but then they have all these other things. Is there any way that we can take a look at it, how it looks?
Yeah, of
Lena?
course. Yeah, let's share the screen maybe once again. And essentially, our NFT marketplace is fully live on mainnet, actually, of Cardano. Now, the main thing about really the NFT marketplace is that we're actually one of the first people that came up with this thing called like an INO. Now it's named the INO, essentially an initial NFT offering. But essentially what it is, we've instead of going to a model like MetaMask, models like OpenSea or so on. So what we've done is going much more exclusive. So essentially, people will need to get voted in order to be able to sell their NFTs on our platform. So not every artist can just come and make all of our NFTs valueless. So essentially, what's going on OpenSea? Every second person just uploads whatever, and it can be just copies and copies of apes or all kinds of stuff that already exist, and there is no value in that. So what we've actually done is a voting system that essentially users vote what stuff go in the marketplace, and only a few artists, like every few weeks or so, are selected to go in the marketplace itself. So as you can see, here's one of our collections. You can see the volume traded, the floor price currently, and on top of that, we have also incentives for our community to decide better on artists and so on. So what there is a tiering system of essentially silver, gold, and platinum, and depending on right now, it's depending mostly on AdaSwap tokens, but we plan also to add more features, for example, community incentives and so on. They will be ranked higher and more reputable when selecting collections and so on in our marketplace.
Lennon, could we say then that it's similar to, of course, an art gallery when you curate the artist? So then also when an art gallery start to curate the artist and they get the best, like in this case will be votes, right? But then you increase the quality of the art gallery, which this case will be similar. You're increasing the quality of the platform. So then I will access to this marketplace because I want to see, I really want to get an NFT, but I don't want to get any. I want to get something that has been kind of voted, by a group of people and not just by one person. Could we see it like that? I think it's cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so essentially the voting should open sometime soon. We're right now working with artists that are wanting to enter to our marketplace, and once we'll have that done, then voting will be open really for everybody. So we're very excited to see that going.
Okay, so at this stage, you guys are looking for artists. So in AdaSwap Milkomeda, we could support just inviting artists to go and visit your platform and try to get into the best voter, right? And provide the best NFT art.
Yeah, so we currently have an open call for all artists that want to come join the AdaSwap NFT marketplace. Obviously, we're giving great support to our artists. We won't ignore any of our artists. We help promote our artists and help them launch their NFTs from a technical perspective, from a marketing perspective. And the reason we do that is because the items that go up on the marketplace are curated, they're high quality, and we want to not only protect our artists, but protect our NFT purchasers, NFT buyers, so they know that they're getting high quality items, not just anything that anyone has been able to upload. So that also gives a bit of a safety net to the users in terms of them being able to know that they're buying a higher quality and/or standard NFT.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna so we know the history of AdaSwap. We know that what you guys aiming for. We also saw the platform. We also saw the NFT marketplace. So I wanna close this. We have like 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, but let's say 5 minutes to actually talk more about your vision and strategy and what you guys are aiming for in general. And I'm going to invite Aaron because I know that, Aaron, you have been in the space, and not just because I think that you have been in the space for longer. So I would really like kind of like your vision about DeFi as a whole, you guys are building in DeFi. We're all building in DeFi. How do you see it how do you see this trend in the next year and a half and 3 years, which is totally different? It's a long time for crypto, as we know. How do you see the market?
Okay, so when we're talking about the DeFi market, obviously there's two roadmaps we're looking at. Well, two future things we can talk about. The first one is the roadmap development for the AdaSwap side, and that's not what we're going to address, but we can address that if you want to. And the second thing is the roadmap for the market itself. Now, obviously, in the contraception of decentralized finance, like I said earlier, it was to give access to people that otherwise wouldn't have access to regular financial opportunities or institutions. So DeFi was able to remove barriers of barriers and entries to access and give financial services to a much broader range of people, whether it be through great services like Uniswap or Aave, that all of a sudden you can do trades, you can do lending protocols, financing options, and all of a sudden you had like this greater participation of people in financial markets, and it created a great benefit in the world when the world really needed it. And that was during Corona. That's when it all started coming out. Now, in terms of where DeFi is going, we at AdaSwap do believe that DeFi is the future. We do believe that obviously, if a person has a more accessible, safer route to financial services and financial opportunities without scrutiny for prior credit scores, et cetera, in terms of just plain access based on what you have in your wallet, based on the leverage you can offer, based on this, based on that. Everyone should have a fair and equal chance and access to financial opportunities. Now, obviously, we did have the upset of UST on the Terra chain that happened, and a few other items for Celsius, and we've seen that these kind of items did have a very significant impact on the total market cap of crypto and on the DeFi space. And we do look at these things and say, well, I think that compliance or regulation will start to move towards DeFi to protect the retail investor, which we're fine with, because we want our users to be protected. So as a company, we adhere to the highest regulatory standards, whether it be very high, very good legal opinions, or making sure that we're compliant with the local authorities or the local regulators. And that's just to make sure that in our minds, if DeFi were to take a move towards a more regulated stance in terms of protection for the retail investor, we as a company would be prepared for that. But in terms of the market as a whole, I definitely think that DeFi will expand. And in terms of exposure, I don't think it's hit those big milestones yet. So you've just recently had things that have exposed people to DeFi, such as Matt Damon on the Crypto.com commercial, or things like this, and all of a sudden people are being made aware of alternative financial opportunities and financial offerings, and people are excited about this. And when these kind of things happened with Matt Damon, and they changed the names of the stadiums, and you had Crypto.com everywhere, and like a lot of other good marketing incentives, we saw the market cap go up because this was new exposure to people. We also do think that obviously when people are excited, they don't do your own research enough, and that could have also led to this huge bull run, which followed by a big market drop. That's just because people didn't have enough experience in the space, and they were maybe too quick to jump in. But I think that now that we've hit that point of really mass exposure, we'll start to see good steady adoption of DeFi amongst people, amongst very high level traders and very novice traders. And I think that's when you're going to see the market come up slowly but well. And I think we're really into that phase now of the next quote unquote bull run. But I don't want to consider it as a bull run in terms of the market's going mad. I want to consider it as a bull run in terms of good steady adoption of crypto and DeFi in the civil spheres. And like I said, I think naturally with these advancements towards mass adoption, you're going to see certain areas of regulation coming in, and we're fine with that as well, because the retail investor, the retail trader, has to be protected as well.
Perfect. In the case, if we go more specific, in the case of what you're doing and working with Milkomeda, right, and more than Milkomeda, the Cardano ecosystem, I'm gonna repeat again because I really like that you guys position yourself as this liquidity engine in the Cardano ecosystem and not just a DEX. And in that point, maybe like a topic that we always discuss or is always there is how do you plan to bring liquidity to the chain? What are your kind of strategies? What do you want? What are you guys doing? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I think Milkomeda will always have a natural draw to it because it will be able to offer multiple native assets from different chains on one trading platform. And obviously, we are able to utilize that. So you guys offer the functionality, and we offer the service. So you guys offer the functionality of access to multiple native assets. We offer the service in order to actually trade those native assets. So I think Milkomeda, because it gives this amazing solution, currently or in the very near future, is a way to say, okay, I'm a new investor, I'm new to crypto, and I see that I want to invest in X, Y, and Z, but I see X, Y, and Z on different chains. And I know when Polygon came up with this bridge and all these different things happened, we were bringing tokens and going centralized, decentralized, and funds were getting lost, and it was not easy to move, and all of a sudden you had many routes you had to take and a lot of hopping to get to what you wanted if things were on different chains, especially when you have a centralized exchange which offers a fiat on-ramp. If that exchange doesn't offer the chain that you specifically want, for example, Algorand native assets, you won't be able to trade Algorand native assets on your fiat on-ramp, or the place that you do your fiat on-ramp being centralized exchange, for example, meaning you'll have to go out of the centralized exchange to go DeFi on Algorand to try and get the native assets you want. And then that could mean you have to go through a bridge, and if you want to liquidate afterwards, you have to rebridge, put it back, trade it, then put it back onto the exchange, then have your fiat off-ramp. So DeFi up until now was a bit complicated, and I think Milkomeda naturally comes and solves that and say, listen, we're integrating Cardano, we're growing Algorand, we're going Solana, we're taking on top blockchains right now that have native assets and very well traded native assets, and we need to create a centralized solution. And you guys have provided this amazing functionality. We as a project, we want to then offer the service and say, okay, now how we're going to bring people to this is we're going to show the offer. We're going to show them how easy it's going to be. It's simple exposure, good, just good exposure. Like, guys, here is the next solution. Here is the next frontier of DeFi. It's right here. It's easy. It's safe. It's secure. Milkomeda is a secure chain. We're a secure platform. And here are your options that you did not have before.
Perfect. Well, I think you touched on the point of like one of the importance, which is that trading native asset, right? Which is, I think, one of your characteristic as well. Is there anything that you believe that the community should know that I'm missing, maybe?
Well, yeah. So obviously, when we're talking about native assets, you're kind of talking more leaning towards low cap altcoins, right? So if we're talking about Cardano or Algorand, so obviously these are low cap altcoins, but these are where you have obviously the highest risk but the highest reward. So it's a very high risk to reward ratio, and for people that are here to invest or turn investing into a full-time career, that's more of the space you want to be, because you have a better chance of making bigger gains. Now, it's very appealing to say, okay, now you have the ultimate platform for accessing all of these low cap altcoins, but you have to do your own research and understand that there are high risks with going with a newer project. And when you're investing in Ethereum, in my eyes, Ethereum's too big to fail, or Bitcoin's too big to fail. But and that's because Bitcoin had a or for example, Ethereum had a $500 billion market cap, and now it's at $200 billion market cap, but that's still an unbelievably high market cap. So that means that there are institutional funds involved in these kind of cryptos. But when you're looking at the smaller crypto low cap altcoins, you have to have to do your own research. You have to be safe as an investor and make sure that you mitigate your risk to the best way possible. And in terms of other, mechanisms that we'll use to incentivize investors, we're going to be we're going to be having a unique fee structure that we call the free finance model, meaning that traders that will trade with the AdaSwap token will have access to higher trade discounts. So normally you have trading fees that are set on a DEX platform. We will be adjusting that based on your AdaSwap holdings, meaning that you can get up to 100% discounts on trading fees, depending on the kind of pairs you'll be trading and how much AdaSwap you'll be holding. So we will be we believe will be one of the first dynamic DEXs to offer a unique trading structure or trading fee structure based on what our community's holding of AdaSwap token is. That's one thing. Another great incentive that we have is great connections within for example, celebrity spheres and stuff like that, in terms of just good general exposure that we want to start working towards to show people the benefits of Cardano and show people the benefits of Milkomeda and show people the benefits of DeFi.
Perfect, Aaron. Thank you. Well, because of time, we're closing right now, but I'm sure that there are many things happening and that will come in the next month with AdaSwap. So we're gonna be there, connected, to get to see everything that you guys are building. So congrats. And thank you everybody who would watch this show. Of course, later we were sharing out in all our social media, so then you can have access to it. Please jump, use the platform. We invite you to, of course, always do your own research, but also we are aiming to actually make the ecosystem grow so thank you also for you guys for joining us for this space. So officially now, again, we had Aaron Tide, the CEO of AdaSwap, and Lennon Qualman, the Chief Strategy Officer of AdaSwap here joining us. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone for joining this space.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.